Joy-Ann Reid had this woman on from the Moms for Liberty, and they want to ban some of the books that have explicit sexual stuff in them. And Joy-Ann Reid is against that. She's for keeping the explicit sexual books in the school library. So let's just play a little bit of this fascinating interview, and we'll talk about it.
Hold on a second.
Well, no, Joy, but I want to be clear. No one's banning books. Write the book, print the book.
First of all, Joy-Ann Reid's hair. Apparently, she's going to leave to go do a Donald Trump lookalike contest after this. I don't know what she's doing.
Hang on, I thought she was decolonized. Was Joy Reid decolonized? That's a very strange choice for somebody who's so decolonized.
She's doing Tyler the Creator, the Igor album that did very well. It beat out DJ Khaled.
So now,
Earthquake. Watch a video. That's.
Again, I'm 58, but I'm glad that you're here to make those references I don't get, and I know they're funny if I would get them. Right. Russ, do you know what he's talking about?
That went over my head.
Tyler, the Creator. You know what? On Saturday, I'm going to show a clip of her with the same hair.
I'll give you the picture.
And then I'm going to put the picture up. That's all we need to do, really. Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, Dave Chappelle did that first. He did a character where he wore a wig just like that.
As what though?
I forget, but he wore a wig like that.
You know, I just thought she was.
I mean, that is just so bizarre because her whole stock in trade is, white people won't vote for Nikki Haley except in South Carolina, and that's why she can't win the Republican primary. Why would you dye your hair blonde if this is your whole brand? Attacking white people and black pride? Like, why would you do that?
I thought she was inspired by Kyle Kalinske.
Oh, that's it.
That's what I thought.
Well, it's a Bohemian Grove thing. This is what, Jimmy, I'm trying to egg you on to explain the blonde hair Bohemian Grove connection.
Okay, the blonde, whatever. Why is it a bowl haircut? That's the main
That is
question.
also confusing.
She looks like Dylan Roof hair is what it is.
Okay.
Well, no, she's a big Three Stooges fan.
Oh, it's a Mo. It's a Mo.
Yeah, it is the Mo.
It's the Mo.
Publish the book, put the book in the public library, sell the book, right?
So this Moms of Liberty makes the case that I'm not trying to ban the book. Go ahead, print it, put it in a public library. Just don't put it in a school library.
About a public school library. Children don't have unfettered access to the internet at school. I did a FOIA records request.
First of all, I think it's hilarious that they pretend that kids read books. Since when did American kids read books? Do they churn butter and play hoop and stick too? Are they talking about the libraries at Amish schools? What are they talking about? Anyway, okay, here we go.
And I wanted to see what kinds of internet sites are banned in schools, if we're going to talk about banning, right? And the subject matter in the books that moms are concerned about are the same things that kids don't have access to on the internet. So it just feels very hypocritical, right? Why is no one out there protesting for, free the internet in schools?
Let me give you an example of some of the books that have been removed.
But she does not answer. She does not answer that at all.
No,
that's too logical.
No, that's right. So that's exactly right. Why don't they want to free the internet? They don't have any problem censoring the internet from certain sexual things. And by the way, what do you want a transsexual substitute teacher to read to the students during their pole dance? Dick and Jane? Actually, that might work. Okay. Hey.
Shell.
So here, so she makes, so again, yeah, so Joy-Ann Reid, boy, that hair, I can't get past it. It's like she's on Saturday Night Live doing a character. It's like, okay, so here.
It's like when a cartoon character, like a mop falls on their head.
Yes.
And they get up.
Yes.
And they have like a beetle shag. Yeah.
Yes. So, so she won't answer that question. That was a great question that the Moms of Liberty actually had for Joy-Ann Reid. Why don't you care about open access to the internet for these kids? Why isn't anybody out there doing that, right?
It just ignores it. Completely ignores it. Doesn't even answer that.
Water off a duck's ass. And now here's some of the
literally with that haircut.
Here we go.
Keywords that you find, the N-word, anything, words like you just used. When you get out of context passages from the book, and then based on that, Moms for Liberty members are going to places like Broward County School Board meetings, reading out of context passages from these books, and then demanding that the school board remove them.
So what's
that is the way.
Yeah.
The question I'm asking is, what is the expertise that you have and other Moms for Liberty advocates have to decide that a book, an award-winning book like All Boys Aren't Blue, isn't appropriate for students to read? What is your expertise?
What is your expertise? An expertise on what? Straw man arguments? Is that what she needs to have? What the? Okay, let's play a little bit more.
Broward County. Again, reading?
Again,
Broward County.
Broward County.
Right?
And reading. Unless there's a lot of pictures in these books.
Well, there are. That's part of the problem, Jimmy.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Story of a young man who's anally raped by his adult family member. So you have incest, rape, pedophilia. Joy, you said you'd let me answer, so I'm going to answer for you. In what context is a strap-on dildo acceptable for public school? That's my question to you. Tell me what the context around the strap-on dildo or the rape of a minor child by a teacher.
Hold on a second.
No, we're talking about public school.
One moment.
Okay.
So now you've asked me a question.
Sure.
So I'm going to answer it.
Okay.
Well, who's the main character? What's the name of the main character in All Boys Are Blue?
You're asking me right now.
You just gave me very specific information about this book, so you're presenting yourself as somebody expert.
It's the gentleman.
Who's the main character in the book?
The main character is the author.
What's his name?
George, I believe, is his first name.
Because you're giving me very specific information that is.
You're asking me to remember the name of an author.
So that actually, this is the most nonsensical thing I've ever heard in my life. Unless you can tell me the name of the main character in the book, I'm not going to answer. She doesn't answer her question, by the way. She doesn't answer it. She asks, well, in what context is a strap-on dildo okay? And in a book for children, and she says, well, do you know the name of the main character? And if you don't, then I guess you're not qualified to make that point, that strap-on dildos are not I don't know exactly.
You don't remember other kids' books like The Cat in the Hat, Ass to Ass, and I looked it up in Wikipedia.
This is. I think we've all been pleasantly surprised at the position that Joy Reid has taken on Palestine. But back to true to form, she is one of the biggest scumbags in the media, and this interview is really an illustration of why. She will not answer questions because the things that this woman is saying cannot be answered. You cannot answer them. So she just keeps redirecting and misdirecting to other ground, using lawyer tricks to get around directly answering her. Who gives a shit if she knows the name of the main character? What she just described, by the standards of any reasonable person, does not belong in a public school. She's not taking the extreme position. She's not saying ban the book. She's not even saying it shouldn't be in public libraries, just public schools. Who do the people who run these networks think the audience is of parents who are clamoring for their grade school children to be exposed to material like that? And you know what? If you are a parent who is comfortable with that, you are free to give your child that book. Why is it the right of the state to make that decision?
Well, the interview gets even worse. You're everything. I go ahead.
The context where I can answer that question. Joy didn't answer. When is it the right context to talk about strap-ons? In required strap-on class, obviously. In dildo class, you can't graduate on 30 credits at dildo class.
What's his name?
George, I believe, is his first name.
Because you're giving me very specific information that is.
You're asking me to remember the name of an author.
You
the name of the author doesn't. Joy.
Here's my
question.
You're
talking about
Here's my question.
You didn't answer my question.
No. I'm going to answer.
Great. I would love to hear that.
Absolutely. Well, I'm interviewing you. You're not interviewing me. So let's just make sure it's a conversation.
Okay. Great.
So what I'm saying to you is that as you are not an expert in this book,
I don't have to be an expert to know that dildos aren't appropriate for public school. I mean,
this
let's get real.
Is a full context story, as you said, of the author's experience. Why is it your right or a Moms for Liberty activist's right to say that a parent who wants their child to have access to this book, which gives a personal experience of this author, why doesn't a liberal parent, for instance, or a parent of an LGBTQ kid, why don't they have a right for their child to just have access to this book? Why is it your right to say they can't?
So again, we're talking about incest, rape, and pedophilia.
And each parent, each parent has to decide what is appropriate for their child to read. So I want you to answer. I'm going to ask you one more time. Right. What is your right to tell a parent who wants their child, who might feel seen by this story? Why don't they have the right? Why don't
my child feels seen in this story about incest rape? Are you kidding?
All the buzzwords. That's why I say this is neurolinguistic programming. They have certain phrases and certain words that automatically invoke moral authority that you're not allowed to question. That's why you get all this bizarre jargon like fill in the blank bodies. Who talks like that?
You stop calling them bodies.
This impacts these bodies. Who talks like that? What are you talking? Would you get here from Mars? What the fuck are you talking about? These bodies. That's the purpose of it. The purpose of it is to create a set of linguistic tricks that do not allow disagreement or debate.
Moving through space. That's
what the fuck does that mean?
Walking,
moving through
right?
space.
It means walking.
What did you arrive here from the fourth dimension? What the fuck are you talking about? Moving through space.
When the hell did My Truth? All these same people that yelled at who was it, Kellyanne Conway or sort of alternate facts. These are the same people who were blathering My Truth. Oprah Democrats. Oh, can I just say My Truth? It's like an old lady talking about soap operas, but you can't say. She calls them My Stories. Like you can't call it the thing that it is for some reason because you're like ashamed of it.
And if what you're talking about is a child who was raped by an adult and has written a memoir about their later experiences in the gay world with strap-ons and such, the proper place for that person to work that out is probably with a therapist, with counseling. It is probably not in the public school library.
Well, it gets even crazier. So now Joy-Ann Reid says that so she's making the case, I think, that it's okay to have this strap-on thing in this book for children at a public school library because some kids might have also been raped and then they feel seen because that's in this book that they see in their...
Stop spying on me. That's what I would say.
So watch this. It gets even worse. Watch.
They have the right as a parent to say, my child can have access to this book.
If a child feels seen by this story, that means that they have been the victim of a predator. That means that they have either been raped by a family member.
And that's exactly what she just is making again, the Moms of Liberty lady is making it. If they feel seen, that means that they've been a victim of a predator. Right. And watch what Joy-Ann Reid says back to this.
They've experienced
and your proof of that is what?
You just said that
What's
if a child feels seen.
She says, and your proof of that is what? No, you just said that.
Right.
Does Joy know the main character's name?
Joy,
I bet you don't.
Joy, you just said that they feel seen. By being feel seen, that means that that's their story. Their story is the same. That's what feel seen means. And now she's saying that she's contradicting herself here to try to win some moment in an argument.
Wait, wasn't she the one that she had all that anti-gay stuff she said?
Yeah, of course she
did.
And
then said she got hacked on her
tweets. She hates
tweets?
gay. And by the way, she hates gay people.
Oh, she definitely.
And now she's pretending. Now she has to do this to make up for all that ugly stuff she wrote about gay people. That's what this is. She's pretending to champion gay things and all things gay because she got caught saying despicable things about just regular gay people.
Oh, part of her punishment for that is she has to say this dumb shit and
while wearing that wig,
a dunce wig.
Yes. So
she's got a dunce wig.
This is so hard.
Wig punishment.
Even for Joy-Ann Reid, this is hard to believe. What do you want to say?
Okay, so because I was like, what is this book? I want to look it up when I saw this.
Yeah.
So at Wikipedia. Remember when you thought CRT was a made-up thing?
Yes, I did.
So Wikipedia, around the time when these things become controversial. Okay, this is the plot. I was like, well, what's the story about? I look it up.
What's the name of the book? The Boy Blue or whatever?
All Boys Aren't Blue.
Okay.
And it's based on a response to a play called In Moonlight, Black Boys Look Blue. I mean,
that's the play that the
Moonlight,
movie was based on.
Right. So this is an answer to that title. Here's plot. Ready? The book discusses consent, agency, and sexual abuse alongside various other topics. It also describes 2 sexual encounters and statutory rape. Doesn't mention the main character, though. There's no way to cliff notes that if you want to know. So that's on purpose. They're making that real vague because this is some kind of hot topic, getting this book into school.
Yeah, that's a lot. Kids, if you got to do a book report, stick with The Old Man and the Sea. That's nice and simple, easy, one character, not much going on. Much easy Ray.
Rick Overton says she's got Ben Stiller's simple Jack hair.
That's what that is.
I want you to answer. I'm going to ask you one more time. Right. What is your right to tell a parent who wants their child, who might feel seen by this story? Why don't they have the right? Why don't they have the right as a parent to say, my child can have access to this book?
If a child feels seen by this story, that means that they have been the victim of a predator. That means that they have either been raped by a family member, they've experienced
and your proof of that is what?
You just said that if a child feels seen by this story.
You're now making assumptions.
No, but if a child has been raped, we should do a lot better than put a book on the library
Now you're literally creating a story behind a child that you don't know. Let me show you a form. This is a form.
Joy-Ann Reid just said that this is for kids who feel seen, meaning that their story is the same as the story in this book where they've been raped by a predator. And then she goes, oh, you're making that up. You have nothing to base that on. That's what Joy-Ann Reid just... Joy-Ann Reid just did that. She just made it up that there's some kid out there who shares this story, and she's just saying, well, if she does share the story, that means they've been raped by a predator. And Joy-Ann Reid goes, well, you're making that up. What? That, I can't that is so... Go ahead.
Well, and she's trying to debate on grounds that the mother, that the minority woman, she's debating on those grounds. She is saying, if you want your child to read that, you can, right? It can be at the public school library. You can give your, not at the public library, just not at the public school library. And this is why I know MSNBC lives with kids. I worry for the kids because you talk to them and they're so fucking brainwashed and so easily programmed. They'll defend these ideas. I personally worry for the kids of parents like that because they are mindless. They're just mindless. Where is the limit? Because if anyone had told you before they hypnotized you into believing this, you know what? For Christmas, I'm giving your kid this book is gay. They would have punched you right in the mouth. How easily were so many of these people who usually have these professional managerial class jobs, they're well educated, be led into thinking that this is some kind of a cause to make sure that children have absolute access to books about anal rape.
Because they don't care about their kids.
How did that happen?
They're narcissists. It's called Munchausen, all that kind of shit. That's liberal friend parents.
Well, that's you're getting into the transgender thing, which I think that's an interesting take on a lot of it.
Let's listen to the rest of this. Whatever I have in this clip, let's listen.
That can be obtained in Broward County, Florida. Okay. I'm going to show it to the audience, and then I'm going to show it to you. Okay. This is called the opt. Yeah, please. I'm going to hand it to you. It's called the opt-out form.
Okay.
An opt-out form would allow any parent, because you said you are in favor of parental rights.
I am.
It would allow any parent to opt out of their child being able to take books out of the library without their parents' permission.
So Joy-Ann Reid thinks she has a slam dunk here. She presents this to the Moms of Liberty saying, here's an opt-out form. Why can't we just say, these are, if you don't want your kid to read that book that's in the public school library, then you can sign an opt-out form. And what is Moms of Liberty response to this?
So that Moms for Liberty, why not advocate that every school in America have an opt-out form so that a parent who doesn't want their child to access a book like All Boys Aren't Blue, that they can make that choice, because then each parent, including a liberal parent, a black parent, a parent who wants their child to read a book about African-American history, then they get their
want children to read books.
Why not just opt out for yourself rather than tell other parents what they can and cannot?
First of all, I think what you're talking about here is a wonderful step in the right direction.
Oh, didn't see that coming. She agreed with you. That's a great step in the right direction. Give parents the opportunity to opt out of stuff like this. I don't think Joy saw that coming.
Well, because this woman is reasonable. She's not what Joy Reid wanted. She wants a foaming at the mouth Marjorie Taylor Greene style social conservative, which she is clearly not. Most of the people I talk to who are critical of gender theory, who are critical of drag brunch, are liberals. They're usually Democrats, honestly, who just have refused to take the Kool-Aid.
And let me just show you this. In Burbank, California, which is right down the street from me, which is a blue city, meaning Democrat, this is the books they've banned at that school. Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird, Mark Twain's The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men, Theodore Taylor's The K, Mildred D. Taylor's Newbery medal-winning young adult classic Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. And by the way, the challenges came from 4 parents, 3 of them black, for the alleged potential harm to the public school district's roughly 400 black students. And then all but Huckleberry Finn has been required reading in the Burbank Unified School District. All but Huckleberry Finn have been. So all of these have been required reading except for Huckleberry Finn. And it was black parents who, so this is not your Moms of Liberty wanting this stuff banned. These are Democrats, voting Democrat. These are African-American Democrats asking their school public library to ban these books.
You don't remember that from years ago?
Well,
no.
The big Huckleberry Finn, we got to get Huckleberry Finn out of the school because that's the N-word, and it could be damaging. to kids.
Yeah, they never talk about it from the other side. You have Irreversible Damage, which is a book examining rapid onset gender dysphoria, where you have these teenage girls who have never shown any sign of gender dysphoria all of a sudden watch a TikTok video and want puberty blockers. There has been a big move to try to ban that book. Target actually removed it at one point under pressure. The staff at the publishing house for Jordan Peterson did a big protest against their own publisher with the obligatory weeping and gnashing of teeth at a meeting, trying to get them not to publish Jordan Peterson's last book. So you just don't hear about it from that end. But it certainly, book banning comes from that end. They just don't see it as book banning when they do it.
So here's from the Los Angeles Times. They say the charge against those books is racism. And it has been invoked in the past. But in contrast to earlier fights across the country, this one is heavily inflected by an atmosphere of urgent reckoning, as both opponents and defenders of those novels claim the mantle of anti-racism. Because these books show they're exposing racism. These are lessons you're supposed to learn. They aren't pro-racism.
The anti-racists don't like the... So To Kill a Mockingbird, one I had to read in school, which is a good book. Back when all the there should be no due process for sex crimes, I remember going, nobody read To Kill a Mockingbird where black man gets blamed and didn't do anything?
Right.
And no, we better stop reading that. All the of Mice and Men, the K I read. All these things that they're not putting forth that stupid like crit theory version of every single topic. So things to be against racism, that's not anti-racism. Anti-racism is, I guess, racism really. So of course you want to get rid of those. They don't want anything fostering understanding between races. They want things blocked off. The only thing that can be mixed up is gender. Racial segregation, Thanksgiving slop of gender. And that's the policy.
And by the way, Of Mice and Men, what's the deal with Of Mice and Men? Is that because there's violence against a mentally challenged guy who kills animals?
Would be my guess.
Who kills animals and people by accident? I don't see what the problem is there. Our country's being led by one of those guys.
Yeah.
For like the second or third time, I think.
Well, what's funny is the libs love To Kill a Mockingbird because of the way that it treats poor whites. They love that. That's an anti-MAGA story.
Yeah, it makes the poor whites seem like the deplorables, right? And that's why they didn't like when she wrote the follow-up to that book. And it turned out that he was actually in the Klan. Did you know that?
Right.
Yeah, that's why that book didn't get any traction.
Wait, which one's in the Klan? Not Boo Radley, the slow guy.
No, the
lawyer.
The lawyer.
Atticus Finch.
Atticus Finch.
What a weird plot turn.
What a weird plot twist, right? Yeah.
No, that's why Aaron Sorkin adapted it for Broadway. The libs love that book.
And now
those Aaron Sorkin liberals, that's the ones that they're talking about that like they're cool with their kids having butt plug class or whatever. Those are the ones who found West Wing inspiring, nausea-inducing. They're the biggest dipshits in the world, and none of them. It's like watching people realize that equity and equality don't mean the same thing. And I mean, probably going back 12 years, I can recall trying to explain this to these people, and now they're old, and they're like, oh, whatever the kids say is good. I mean. Why don't you go to church if you're going to be this brain dead and just let the priest do whatever he wants? Go to church.
Hey, come see us do a live stand-up show. We're going to be in Palmdale, California, Omaha, Nebraska, Des Moines, Milwaukee, Lansing, Michigan, Bend, Oregon, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, Philadelphia, Boston, and more. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets, and we're adding a second show in London.